Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a happy, joyous, wonderful Monday morning. Just dropped Zari off at school, so I decided to go live. I'll wait to see if anybody's coming in. Hopefully, my wonderful virtual friend, virtual son, virtual little brother, Young Riaz, will come and join me. I'll wait. Hey,
And
hey, good morning, my friend.
I'm okay.
How you doing this morning? I just dropped Zari off. I'm in the car, but I looked out the corner of my right eye, and what
Okay,
did I
no
see?
problem.
Look,
All
iron.
right.
I looked out the corner of my right eye, and what do I see? I see that broken fence where that
Oh
guy
wow.
that I let cut my grass broke my fence. He kept saying to
Oh
me
wow.
his riding lawnmower was too big to go through my fence, fit through my fence. And I keep calling him, he won't answer my call. He better
That's
answer my call and come out here and tell me not me, not Devon. He keeps saying, Mama, just call the homeowner's insurance. Devon, no, that man is gonna get out here and tell me how he, not me, or the insurance company, how he is gonna fix this fence. But
you.
but that's all yesterday. You know, I told you I went out there and took pictures and saw all
Mm-hmm.
that mess in my
Morning,
back.
Ryder. Wait, hold it. Morning, Ryder.
Oh, we got Ryder. Oh my gosh, Ryder. Oh my Lord, thank you for coming. You found me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna work. We're gonna get that man to come out here and fix my fence. I done told my son I'm not calling no insurance company. He busted my fence up. Bang! I can hear him. I was sitting on the couch. I can hear him banging. He would like take it apart. I guess to get his lawnmower in there. He would cut my grass, my
Mm,
backyard. Then I could hear him hammering it back before he left. Right. The man
yeah,
didn't even tell. He didn't even tell me. I don't go in the backyard. I don't go in the side of the house. You know, I stay in the house. I just go
yeah,
get my kids, pick up my kids. He sat up there and did that, right? And
yeah.
so a year last summer, I had another guy. This was the black guy that did it to me, right? I'm not trying to sound racist, but the black guy did me wrong. The white guy, he said, Miss McCoy, after he did my yard for like 3 times, he said, Miss McCoy, Archie, you do realize that your fence is busted up and broken. I said, what do you mean my fence is busted and broken? I don't go outside.
Thank you very
Look,
much, Ryder.
and
Same
and,
here.
and he yep, I went out there and I saw it, took pictures, and I'm like, okay. And I told Devon said, Mama, just call insurance company. No, I'm not, son. I'm not calling no insurance company. That man gonna come out here and fix this fence. He gonna come talk to me and tell me how he's gonna work it out and fix that fence. Or shoot, I'm not calling no insurance company. I could easily lie and say we had that storm last year. I could say the storm knocked it down. Nope, I'm not gonna lie. He's gonna come and tell me how he's gonna fix that fence. Yep, sure is. I even had a vine growing up because I don't go outside in my backyard like I should. Get that nice sunshine
Mm-hmm.
coming in. So I found that I had a vine growing on the back of my patio. I have a closed-in patio, and then the other side is like a regular patio. So it's like a double patio. And so on the part with the screened-in patio, there was a vine growing, connecting all the way to my kitchen window. And I looked out the kitchen window one day and I saw a spider. It was a big old. It was
Oh
probably
wow.
a poison. It was
Wait.
probably
Yeah.
a poisonous spider, right? It was
Oh
sitting
wow.
there in my window on the other side of the window, of course, on the outside. I'm like, how did this spider get inside my window? And it looked like it was dead because it's still there. Because I'm scared to open the window and get it and kill it or whatever. I should have asked the man if he the one that was cutting my grass. He cut the vine down. I should have asked him if he could have got the spider because that spider's still sitting there. Yep, it's probably dead though, but it's still sitting there. But yeah, enough about me and my fence, ranting about my fence. But yeah, what you got going on this morning?
No, nothing else, though, to be honest. I'm just chilling. Just, just I'm not doing anything. I'm just watching YouTube. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, you know I had to stop watching YouTube because they put me on the Woke trial. They gave me 7 days. I can't try.
And
I can't miss argument.
even if you do, you don't really interact anymore.
No, because they said my probation was I had my sentence on Woke trial was I had just not type. I could not type in nobody's chat for 7 days. Well,
And 7 days.
I had already stopped typing in the chats. You know, I stopped. I kind of disappeared a little bit, even though I was watching to see what they were saying about me, but I kind of was just ghost watching. I guess that's what they call it on YouTube. I don't know. I don't use those terms, but I was watching on the clouds or whatever they call it. And then I said, you know what? I'm just not going to give them my energy. I'm just going to not watch. They said they don't want me to watch no more, so I'm not going to watch. And what did they do? They put me on the Welsh trial, gave me 7 days. I could not
Oh,
type in
hold
the chat.
on, hold on. Kaylani's here. Hey,
Oh,
Kaylani.
we got Kaylani. We got Kaylani in the building. Oh my goodness. I thought Kaylani would be asleep. Hey, Kaylani. Look, so I couldn't type in the chat for 7 days. So I did it. Didn't I go beyond
Yeah,
7 days? I think I went almost 2 weeks. Did I make 2 weeks?
yeah.
So became the winner. I think I'm the winner, the queen. The
Yeah,
queen.
I
I'm the
think,
queen.
yeah, I see what you mean there, to be honest, though. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look, you have to laugh. I'm not gonna cry no more. I have to laugh so I don't cry,
No,
right?
I
That's
stopped
what you gotta
crying
do.
ages ago. I stopped crying ages ago. I don't cry anymore.
You have to laugh in life so you don't cry. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I'm looking in the sky while I'm talking to y'all, and I see this pretty cloud where the sun was just shining bright, and I took a picture of it, right? And so now
Ooh,
the sun is, but look, the sun is behind the cloud, and it's so pretty. But if I try to click off and take a picture real quick, it's probably gonna throw me off a StreamYard.
all
But
right,
look,
hold on a minute.
so
Hold on a minute. Look, that is being really funny. It says Kaylani, Mrs. Archie causing trouble out here.
look, we're gonna send Kaylani to the principal's office. We're gonna send him to the principal's office. If I gotta go to
No,
the
I
principal's
don't think
office.
this time.
No, no, no,
No,
no.
no,
Look, teacher Riaz, Mr. Riaz.
no, I'm going to have to whoop
No,
you
no,
now.
no. If I have to go to the principal's office, Kaylani and Ryder's coming right along with me. Okay, I'm not going by myself. They gotta come with
Nope.
me.
No, I don't think Kaylani hasn't done anything and Ryder hasn't done anything. You're pretty much on your own for this one.
Well, I never. You said I'm on my own. Why am I on my own, Mr. Riaz?
Because
Teacher,
you're
why
the
am I
one
on my own?
you're the one causing trouble right now. No
Oh
disrespect, but to be honest, you're the one not listening to me.
my. Okay, look, y'all, give me 1 second. I gotta take this picture. So if I get kicked off, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. I gotta get this picture. Wait a minute, I gotta get it. Go ahead, Iron. Take over. Take over, Mr.
Sure,
Teacher. Teacher.
sure,
Take over.
sure, Ryder and Kaylani, how you both doing here? I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope this is like the funniest moment that you've ever seen here.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just being silly this morning.
Good one,
I'm sorry.
Kehlani. You said you always getting into class trouble. Yeah, pretty much okay. I mean, no, now you think about it, actually you and Mrs. Archie can actually go together now.
Did I get kicked off? Did I get kicked off?
No,
Okay, I got
no,
15.
Ryder, no,
I
Ryder,
got I
no,
got
not the mom.
15. I got 15 million pictures of the sun. I'm gonna show y'all one day. As soon as I
Okay,
get
once.
myself together.
Oh, wait,
Look,
hold it.
iron. Uh oh.
Ryder. Nah, she's not the teacher today. I'm the teacher though, and she's not the one listening.
Look, iron. There's a bird. I just took a picture. There's a bird on top of my neighbor's roof. Oh my goodness. Is that young content creator that came at me? Is that her watching me? Remember the bumblebee yesterday that kept coming at me?
Yes.
The bumblebee now is a bird up on my neighbor's house. Are they watching me? You know, remember that song I played yesterday? Somebody's watching me. Is that is that the bird is looking at me? I don't know. Look,
No,
Kaylani and
yeah,
Ryder.
I get you though.
I told Kaylani and Ryder, I told Young Riaz, and I told everybody, quit taking Miss Archie so seriously. Look, when I came on YouTube, I was watching everybody for over 2 years now, right? So when I first made myself known on YouTube, I said, Zaria, they're talking about doxing people. I was on my daughter's account. I said, Zaria, help me create my own account so they don't find out who you are. And so she did. So that's why I became known as Miss Archie at the end of November. I started going in the chats, talking with everybody, see how much fun everybody was having. I started going in the chats, just doing me. And I learned how to troll. Brian Black is my laughing partner. They're the ones who taught me how to troll. I didn't know how to troll. I didn't know how to make fun of people. Miss Archie never made fun of people until she came to YouTube.
Wait,
Anyway,
hold it. I want to see what Ryder's saying. Ryder, so you're pretty much saying I have an accent. You have an accent. Where's your place of birth? Okay, my place of birth is London, basically. I was born in East London, basically.
oh, well, I didn't know that. You said Pakistan and Saudi Arabia.
No, I actually no. Pakistan is my descent. Where Pakistan is my heritage, but Saudi is where
Oh,
I live. My
okay.
place of birth is London.
See, how many places have you? You're just like me. My dad was in the military, in the army. I was born in California, Vallejo. Then we went to Kansas. And then we got stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Then we went to Alaska. We were stationed at Anchorage, Alaska, Fairbanks. And then we came right in 1978. I was getting ready to go to the fourth grade. We came back here. I was 8 years old. We came back here to Fort Bragg. So I've been here. This is my home. I don't know California as my home because I was just born there. So I lived in Kansas. I lived in North Carolina, Fayetteville, Fort Bragg. Then we lived on base, and then we went to Alaska. And then we came right back here. So this is all I know. So I was 8 years old on an airplane with my family. So as an adult, I'm scared to fly. Like I was supposed to go
Yeah.
for in Georgia. We were supposed like maybe 10, 15 years ago. I was supposed to go for a convention because our school was accredited for English education. Our school got an award, and so the principal, Mr. Coleman, he wanted me to go to Georgia with him, the assistant principal, Miss Waddell. They wanted me to go on a plane, and I said, Miss Waddell, I can't go on a plane. I told her the story about me being on a plane when I was 8 with my family. She said, all you gotta do is take a drink, Miss Archie. They'll give you some wine, and you can just take a drink. I said, Miss Waddell, I don't drink, I don't smoke because my daddy was an alcoholic. I said, I'm not gonna turn into a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde like my daddy was. She said, all you gotta do is take a drink to calm your nerves. I said, nope, I'm not doing it. I said, Mama, you and Levon and Zari are gonna get in the car with me in this Ford Explorer truck, and y'all are gonna drive to Atlanta with me. Donald wouldn't go because he had to work. So I said, y'all gonna get in this truck with me, and y'all gonna come and y'all gonna stay in the hotel with me, and we're gonna drive to Georgia, and that's Atlanta, and that's exactly what we did. We got to see the Coca-Cola factory or plant or whatever. We got to see the museums in Atlanta. And my brother and sister are right there, so I got to see them. It was just a joyous time. But no, they were not going to put Miss Archie on no airplane. No, they wasn't. No, they weren't.
Okay.
Okay,
Hold on. Let
okay,
me see
okay.
what. Well, let me see
I'm gonna
what.
shut up now. I'm gonna shut up now and let you talk, teacher. I'm gonna let
Okay,
you
it's
talk.
fine. Okay, oh yeah, about others. Okay, right. Yeah, I also I did have a bit of an accent growing up, though. I did learn how to speak, but also though, I spent spent most early years of my childhood in London, and then I spent most of it when I was in Saudi. So by then, that's when I started learning the dialect you guys use, and then when I came back to the UK, though, that's when I started learning how to talk like this. So I taught myself every day how to speak.
Wow. I when you say that, I had a little girl. I taught kindergarten and first grade for like 18, almost 20 years. But I worked with children over almost 30 years, right? Over the years, this little girl was from Somalia. I can't remember her name right now, but I remember her face. I see her face right now. She was from Somalia. So her mother was Somalian. Her dad was Caucasian. So I guess he was in the military, and he met her when they had a baby, right? So he had custody of her at the time. So he put her in my class, my kindergarten class at the time, and she didn't speak no English. You want to know what happened by the end of the year? I don't credit myself for it at all. It was God that did that. You know what happened at the end of the year? That little
Yes,
girl,
Ryder, I am
she knew
Muslim.
better English. She knew better English than all of us.
Wait, wait, I want
Yeah.
to see what Ryder's saying as well. Ryder, yes, yes, Ryder, I am Muslim. That's correct.
I'm sorry.
Basic.
I cut you off again. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine. No, basically though, when I am born in London, I'm basically born in the UK though. But basically, my family, my heritage is Pakistani. But basically, I'm born and raised in the UK like my dad. My dad was born and raised in the UK like me. So he was a born. He was born here. He was born in the country that I'm raised from.
What about your mom? She Pakistani or
Yes, yes, she was born
okay?
Pakistani. So basically, though, she lived in Pakistan for most of her life until she got married.
Okay. Okay. Wow. See, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, so I think people get confused why, when I say I'm British Pakistani, they think I'm Pakistani. I'm not fully that only. I'm just basically a British raised Pakistani. That's what.
Okay. Well, look, I'm glad y'all are with me today because today's the anniversary. 11 years since my husband passed, April the 3rd, 2012. I had to watch him pass away, so today is a bittersweet day for me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get through it. I got through it for 11 years. I'll get through it.
Yeah. Wait. Okay, should I actually give you a song that pretty much start anyways to describe how, like, I'll give you something though you should listen to. This one is pretty interesting song though. You'll actually understand how you feel though.
What's the name of it? Tell me what it is.
I can't tell you what it is. If I tell you, you will not understand. So if I type it in the chat, you'll see it. So
Okay, just type it in the chat. You don't
I
have to
typed
put it
it.
in the you don't have to put it in the private chat. Just type it in the regular chat. I'll
No,
see
I
it.
typed. No, I typed it.
No, I don't want to click on something and then I get kicked off. Will I get kicked off if I click on it?
No, I mean if you no the private chat, yeah, I don't know how to type in the actual chat.
Oh, you okay? Let me see. Oh, private chat. Okay. Oh, I see it. It says, what does it say? Khalid Sadiq, snakes. Ooh,
No, that's the name of the
snakes.
song. It's the name of the song.
The name of the song is Snakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. You're right. Sure is. Yep. I would try to play it, but I don't. My internet's messed up. I got to pay my bill.
Absolutely.
They
Come
kind
here.
of look. They kind.
Oh, wait, hold it. Let me see what Reddit says. Reddit says, okay, I know. Okay, be careful how you speak because your accent and how you speak how you speak, people might take your words out of context. Yeah, Ryder, you have a good point though. Yeah, my accent and the way I type, true. That is true though. Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Ryder and Kaylani. I'll let Mrs. Archie know. She just went off and she'll be back.
keep doing that. I keep kicking myself off. I keep telling y'all I don't know what I'm
Oh,
doing.
by the way, Kaylani and Ryder are giving you your condolences.
Oh, thank you so much, Ryder and Kelani. But God works in mysterious ways. As long as my kids are okay about it, I'm okay about it. I was more concerned about them than myself because I didn't know how to go to my mom's house and tell them. I had to get my
Yeah,
friend Betty to come with me and tell Betty, you gotta come with me. How am I gonna tell Devon and Zara they can't come to the hospital to see their daddy
yeah,
anymore?
that is true.
How
Also,
am I
yeah,
gonna tell them? How am I gonna tell them this? So she
yeah,
came with
well,
me and we told them. And then Zaria, she had just turned 6, so she didn't really understand. She didn't go to a lot of funerals. She didn't know about death. They never saw their dad in the hospital before. So I didn't let them go. From March the 15th till he died April the
thank you,
3rd,
Kaylani. Thank you.
I would
Thanks,
go to the
Kaylani.
hospital.
I
I
am a
would
good
teach.
co-host. I'll be doing this stuff for a while, since I'm off for Easter right now. But once when semester starts and stuff like that, I won't be able to do, this often. But I'll come in whenever I can. You know.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to tell y'all all my business, but I had to get her to help me go tell them. I wasn't letting them go when I would teach all day. I would get my dad to pick. He was always picking them up. Him or my mom would pick them up for me on Mondays and Tuesdays when I had staff meetings. So I just had them pick them up, or either I would drop them off on my way to the hospital. I would try to hurry up and run my copies and get my classroom together for the next
True.
day. And then around 4:30, 5 o'clock, I would get back to the hospital, spend time with him. I go to the chapel and pray. I cried. I prayed. He got better, then he get worse. He went intensive care 3 times and he came out. Then he didn't make it. So one time I was talking to one of the travel nurses. It was a man, a nurse. He said, I was telling him about my kids. He said, you might want to let them come see him. And I said, they never saw him in the hospital before. He said, Miss Mckoy-Archie, just let them come see him. And when I did, my dad dropped him off, and it was 5 days before he passed away. My dad dropped him off. He was in there 20 days before he died. But so after day 15, after going, spending all day teaching, then getting there, sometimes not eating, not sleeping, just sitting in the chair, playing gospel music, his favorite gospel songs. He wasn't really eating. He was trying, he was transitioning. I didn't know what that word meant till after the fact. He was like, not talking much, just kind of laying in the bed, just, looking, listening. He would talk to me a little bit. He still remembered who I was then. But I started letting him come, and then uh my daughter, as soon as my daughter walked over to his bed, she was like 6. She had just turned 6. We had just had her birthday party at Monkey Joe's. He was in kindergarten. She said, "Mama," and then she looked at her dad, and he perked up. He actually sat up in the bed. He hadn't been sitting up. He sat up in the bed, started smiling, and held her. He took her hand, and she was smiling. I was smiling. I should have got pictures. I think I might have took one, but I don't know where my old phone is. I have to find it. A picture of her. That was the first time in like 15 days that he had perked up, right? So I said, Lord, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna get better. But no, he didn't. The Sunday before he passed, me, Devon, and Zari were in the room with him, and there was she wasn't a nurse, she was the cleaning lady, and she walked in the room and she looked at me, Devon, and Zari. She said, "Ma'am, you might want to get him up out of that bed." I said, "What you mean?" She said, "When they lay in the bed like that," she said, "the bed takes over." And I didn't know what she meant, but now I know what she meant.
Yeah, I
So
get.
I said, "Can you help me? Because he can't sit up by himself." I said, "Can you help me?" And she helped me get him and sit him. We sat him in the chair, and he sat in the chair. And I really wish I hadn't have done it because he was kind of shaking, a little shaky and stuff. So I immediately I text my mother-in-law. I said, "Miss Dixon," I said, "Your son, we got him sitting up in the chair." And she said, "Hallelujah." And I sent her all the pictures. I had pictures of him and Devon and Zaria. I think I had Devon take one of me and him, and he was sitting in the chair and he was smiling. Then he was kind of shaking. So I said, after a while, I said, when the nurse came in, I said, "Can you please help me get him back in the bed?" So she helped me get him back in the bed. And so Devon was at the end of the bed, right? And Devon, and I heard Donald say, he said, "Devon," he said, "don't be playing that game." I said, "What does he mean? Don't tell you." He said, "Devon, don't be playing that game." And guess what my son at age 19 has done ever since? Guess what, Iron? Guess what he's
Pretty much
doing?
play
He's playing.
still.
He's playing on the game. He's playing on the game. I
Yeah.
said, "Boy, the boy done built him a gaming PC." I said, "Devon, I know a couple of guys on YouTube like Real Chase. I think Big Greg and Mr. Skinny and all them. They play game. They play on the gaming, the gaming system." I said, "They can help you out." I said, "Why don't you contact one of them or let me contact one of them?" He looked at me. He said, "Mom, I don't need them." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Mom, I know what I'm doing." He said, "Mom, I watch YouTube videos." I said, "What do you mean you watch YouTube videos?" He said, "Mom, I watch YouTube videos. I know how to build a PC." And lo and behold, he had his money saved up from the summer. He's been working at Dairy Queen over the summers and during the school year since 2020 when he was 16. So I said, "Devon," no, he did it when he was 15. He started working when he was 15. And I said, "Devon, it's your money. I can't tell you what to do, but this is what mama would do." He ignored what I said, Iron, and guess what he did? He took his summer savings. He spent all this money, like $500. He had stuff coming to he's away at school, mind you, in college. He had all this stuff coming to my house. "Mama, you need to look out for this package. Mama, the package is going to come on such and such day." I said, "Devon, why you got me looking out for all this stuff?" So on my fireplace, my mantle, it's all these packages that he had sent to my house. Then the last one was the actual, I guess, CPU. He had that sent to the house. So So it's a big box still sitting on the right side of my couch. I said I refuse to move it. He put it there. He needs to move it. He needs to throw it away. So it's still sitting there waiting on him to throw that box away, right? He even got the little bubble packaging sitting outside of the box. Zaria took it and she plays with it and pops all the bubbles and all that. It's still sitting on the box, waiting for him to come and get it, right? So he built himself a gaming PC. But I said, I thought about the other day. I said, your daddy told you don't be playing that game, and that's all you do. I told him that the other day. That's all you do is play that game. But I can't complain because he makes good grades in college. He always made good grades. My daughter always made good grades. I can't get on them because at least they're giving me the grades. As a teacher, that's all I was concerned about. As long as you give me your grades, you can cut up, you can misbehave, you can make Miss Archie bite her fingernails, take her fingernails and scrape them down the chalkboard. But as long as you give me your academics and let me teach you and give you your grade, you can get those good grades. That's all that mattered to me. I didn't care. So I said, well, if that's your money, do what you're gonna do. And he built it. He actually showed me. He said, Mama, look at this part. He showed me the inside of a computer. I had never seen it, the CPU. I never seen that before. He said, see, I'm taking this out and I'm gonna put this in. I said, okay. And so he went upstairs to the bonus room and he said, Mama, come up here. I said, I'm not going up them steps. No, I ain't been up there in 2 years. I'm not walking up them steps. You remember when I actually fell down the steps one morning. I was on my way. I was rushing. I just woke up and it was time to get them up for school. And I was rushing. So I have a thermostat downstairs and one upstairs. So I went to go upstairs to turn that one on. And I was coming down the steps and I slipped. And when I say I slipped, I have like 11 steps. I was probably on step maybe number
Mm.
9 or 8. And I slipped from number 8 all the way down to number 2. And I, when you slip and fall on your bottom and you land on your bottom, you're in pain, right? So I sucked it up and I started praying. I got on my knees. I said, Lord, please take this pain away. Well, he didn't take the pain away. So I went to work and then when I would go to sit down, my bottom would be hurting, right? And I tried to teach the whole day. And I called my principal. I said, Miss Tucker, I can't do this tomorrow. I got to go to the emergency room. So instead of going to the emergency room, I went to a Med One place that I go to frequently. And so I go over there and they do X-ray because I thought I broke my tailbone. Right? He said, no, luckily you didn't break your tailbone. I said, okay, thank you. So he prescribed me a donut. He said, go to Walgreens or CVS and get you a donut. I said, what do you mean a donut? So it's like a donut cushion. And so I had to sit, I had to sit on that cushion. And then he gave me some pain pills. Well, I don't take medicine, so I didn't take the pills. I just withheld that pain until the pain finally went away. So I had to teach school, go sit down whenever I wasn't teaching standing up. I had to put that little donut in the chair just so I could sit down so I wouldn't be in pain. And my students would look at me and they were like, first, that was kindergarten at that time. They were like, Miss Archie, why are you sitting on that? I said, because Miss Archie fell down the steps. They said, you fell down the steps. I said, I actually didn't fall. I slid. I hit my butt and then I slid down the steps. I had a picture frame on the step and I broke the picture frame sliding down when I fell and sliding down on the step. I said, that's why I don't go upstairs. I said, and so when Devon told me to come upstairs and look at his CPU, his gaming system he built, I said, Devon, you know why I don't come up them steps? I'm scared I'm gonna fall again. So
Now
yeah,
I remember one time by mistake though when I was walking down the stairs, I walked down so fast. I actually, no, I didn't slip, but I just pretty much lost control of myself and I slapped
yes,
my hand. I
yes.
no, basically I slapped my hand against the wall right here,
Well, you
in the
know
middle
how
of the,
you
in the
know how
middle
when you
of, in
fall,
between. No,
you know how
basically,
when you fall. I'm
in
sorry to cut
between
you off.
the wall and door, I just smacked my hand really hard.
But when you fall, your first instinct is to brace yourself. So what do you use when you brace yourself? What's the first thing
And
you
then
use? You use your what when you're bracing yourself when you fall?
my leg,
Huh?
wait, my hands and my legs and
Yeah,
stuff and
yes,
my
you
feet.
use your hands. So immediately I put my hands down. So actually I hurt my wrist and I hurt my bottom, right? So he said, well, luckily you didn't break your tailbone, but I could have, if it actually felt like I broke something. I was scared. And I said, well, I don't want to go to the doctor. So I said, maybe if I just pray about it and then I could just go to work and teach, I'll forget about it. Well, it didn't happen. I had to go. I had to stop in the middle of the day and I had to go because it was so painful. Like I really thought I broke something really bad, But
Yeah.
luckily he said I didn't. He said, but Miss Archie, you didn't break your tailbone, luckily, unfortunately, but I can tell you something that you got when they did the x-ray. I said, what do I have? I got scared. He said, you have bladder stones. And when he said bladder stones, I'm like, what is a bladder stone? He said, you got like 3 or 4 little bladder stones. And I said, what is that? I thought, because my brother had previously in the years prior, he had gallstones. What do you call it? Gallstones? Gallstones they needed to pass. And so it scared me because I thought, and he had told me how painful it was. I thought that I had those. But he said it has something to do with your urine, holding your urine. And see, as a teacher, we had to do that all the time because we didn't have time to go to the bathroom. They wouldn't give us an assistant, so we didn't have nobody to let us go to the bathroom. So me holding my urine all those years, it caused me to get those bladder stones or whatever he said it was. Yeah, and then my principal, she caught me one day. We used to put our children. We need to go to the bathroom after lunch. After you eat lunch or eat or drink something, what happens to you, Iron? When you eat after you eat and
You
drink,
need
what
to go to the
happens?
bathroom. You
You
need to
have to
go
go to
to.
the bathroom. Well, so what we would do, because she wouldn't give us an assistant, maybe one hour to 30 minutes once a week. That's all I had for an assistant with a room almost 25 kindergartners, right? Or first graders when I started teaching first grade. And so I had to go to the bathroom. So what we were doing, me and my surrounding teachers, I was grade level chair over them. We would put our kids in each other's classroom. So she watches. She has cameras in her office. They've been in there for since the other principals, previous principals, but they never would like watch you on the camera. She was watching me on the camera. She saw me walk to the bathroom, go all the way up to the teachers' lounge to that bathroom. She saw me walk. She saw me walk to the stage to the copy machine. Soon as I come down after making my copies real quick, I was sneaking and I went to the bathroom and I snuck to the copy machine to run some copies for my students. I was coming down the steps and guess who was right there at the door?
She
Guess
was
who was at
waiting.
the door?
The
My
principal was.
my principal. And she was gonna threaten to write me up. I said, well, she said, Miss McCoy-Archie, where are your students at? I said, oh, they're in Miss such and such class. She said, well, that's not safe. She said, you're not using safe practices. She said, because that's not student teacher ratio. She can't have all her students and your students. I told her, I said, we've been doing this for over a year. We've been doing this for years. I said, it only takes me, what, 3 minutes to run to the bathroom and get back. It only takes, and so when they need to go to the bathroom, they put their students in my class. She said, no, y'all are not going to do that anymore. She said, if you need to go to the bathroom, call the secretary. I said, okay, whatever, whatever. She threatened to write me up. I said, okay, whatever. Do what you gotta do. Yeah, I snuck to the copy machine. Do what you gotta do. Do you want me to teach these kids, or do you want me to not run my copies and teach these kids? What you want? What you want? So I talked back to her. I talked back to her like 4 times, and so she kept threatening to write me up. I didn't care. I always let people run over me, tell me what to do, tell me what I can't do. Not that day, not those days. I said, go ahead and write me up. Do you think she wrote me up?
No,
Do you think she wrote me up?
no.
Because she knew she was wrong for having me in that classroom with all those kids. All the principals would give me the trouble kids because I'm not trying to talk bad about the children because I love my students. They would give me the so-called trouble kids because I knew Miss Archie's not going to call the principal's office. She's not going to call the parents. She's just going to deal with it. And I dealt with it for all those years, 18, 20 years. I dealt with it. And so the social worker, she would praise me in the little meetings you have to go to. When you have a troubled kids in your class, they want to try to make you go to meetings with the parent, social worker, psychologist, school psychologist, principal, teacher, me. They want you to label these children. I can talk about it now because I'm not going back to teaching. But she wanted me to label all these kids, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. She tried to get me to retain a little boy I had in my class. I took him from a zero. I took him from a zero to about a 2.5, 3. She wanted me to retain him. I said, no, I'm just going to work with him and work with him. I work with him and work with him. And guess what? I passed him on. I was not going to retain him because he repeated kindergarten in my class. So I'm like, He was in another teacher's class, then they put him in my class. I said, This child will go on. This child will move. He will go to first grade. And she tried to tell me, no. She called me over the summer. Why didn't you retain him? Why didn't you do the paperwork? I said, you know what? I told her he went from here to here. I went to the cafeteria one day and I showed her the paperwork that I assessed with the testing assessment. I showed her. I said, look, listen, Miss So and so. I don't want to say her name. Look, Miss So and so. Look what he's doing. Do you think she cared? No. All she cared about was me retaining a child, a 5-year-old. How are you going to retain a 5-year-old child?
Okay,
That's
no.
just learning and blossoming. His first time in school. How was I supposed to retain him? No, Miss Archie worked with him until I couldn't work with him no more. And I passed him on. I whispered to his mom. I said, you know what? And his grandma, they were crying to me. Miss Archie, what do? We don't want him to be retained. I said, you know what? I said, I might get in trouble for this, but you have the last word. As a parent, you have the last word. I whispered it to him. You have the last word. And the child went on to first grade. She called me over the summer. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this paperwork? I told you to do this paperwork. You told me? Yeah, you told me. But were you in that classroom? Were you working with this student? Did you waste your time sacrificing spending time with your kids, or did you stay after school and work with this child and work with this child? Did you do that? I didn't say it to her because I was too afraid. I said it in my head to her. I didn't care. She's like, I'm gonna write you up. She said to me the other summer, I'm gonna write you up. Okay, go ahead, Miss So and so. Go ahead and write me up. And I hung the phone up on her. Next school, the August came, school year, beginning of school year. What we would do as teachers, some of us, we would go ahead early and start our class, set our classrooms up before school year started. She comes down in there in my classroom, Miss Archie, Miss Mckoy-Archie. I talked with you about this child over the summer. Yeah, you did. You did. You did. You talked to me. But I had to do what I had to do as a teacher in my classroom where you don't give me help. You don't give me adequate teacher assistant help. When I've always had you come be principal of the school, you change all the rules. You take all the clubs away from the kids. All me and some of the teachers, kindergarten teachers, we would stay late to work. Sometimes I stayed at school till 7, 8 o'clock at night. The janitors trying to kick me out. But I had my kids with me, so it didn't matter. Or my kids were at my mom's house, so I was able to do what I needed to do. So she wanted to just take everything away. So me and some of the teachers, she wanted us to pay prime time after school care. I said, I'm not paying no prime time. I said, Devon, Zaria, y'all gonna get in there. I'm locking you in this room. I'm running to the copy machine. Or Devon, he's playing on the game on the computer. I said, you sit here. Me and Zaria going to the copy machine. I'll be right back. I'm gonna lock you in here. So we started having our kids we picked a classroom and we would rotate. I would have the kids in my room, or this teacher would have them in her room one day. We just rotated. And we kept our kids. Well, one of the teachers, I guess she was scared. So she said, go ahead and put him in prime time. I said, well, you can go ahead. I'm not paying no money. I'm not paying no money. And I'm just going to be here an extra hour or two. I'll hide him in my classroom. I sure did. I wasn't going to pay no prime time, waste my money. Devon Zara, you're going to sit in here and you better not go out in that hallway. You better not let her see you on that camera in that hallway. And that's how I had to work it. I went from the paid prime time to keep my kids for what, 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours. You're going to hide into my classroom. And that's what I did. Teaching was hard. It was hard, but I did it. I always wanted to be a teacher since I was a little girl. I used to play in my room. I used to talk to myself, and I would have students, and I would get books from the library over the summer that the librarian would discard. So my mom would let me go to the school after the school year ended and go to the library and get the books. So I'd be in my room playing school. I had my list of students. I was the teacher. I had my little worksheets. I used to do the worksheets and pretend like my students were the one doing it. My little Barbie dolls were my students. That's what I did. That's what Miss Archie did. So she lived her dream. She became a teacher. It was a long struggle. I went a total of 2 colleges, UNC Wilmington, Fayetteville State University. I did a total of 7.5 years working as a teacher assistant bus driver during the day, a babysitter, and a college student at night. That's what I did for 2 years at Fayetteville State, 2.5 years at Fayetteville State, and I finally no 3.5 years because it was 3 years at Wilmington. I was a junior when I had to come out of school, and I sat out 8 years. I worked in daycare, and then I became a teacher assistant bus driver. They told me if you don't get the first year I didn't have to. First 2 years I wasn't a bus driver. The third year they told me if you don't drive the bus, you will lose your job. what they started doing with the county, they wanted to instead of paying us teacher assistants because we were already on the clock, they said no, we're going to pay outside people to drive the bus. So then the outside people were complaining. So then they said to us, teacher assistants, they came back to us and said, well, if y'all, you got to sign this contract. If you don't agree to go get your bus license, take the class, get your license, and drive the bus, then you lose your job. So I was terrified of driving a big old bus. All I knew to drive, I had a little green Chevy Cavalier. I didn't know how to drive a big car, not let alone a bus, a school bus. So I sucked it up. I didn't want to lose my job, so I sucked it up and I went and took the class. I passed the class. Then I went and took the driving part. I passed that part, and the rest is history. I was a bus driver for a year and a half for the high school and for the elementary down the street. The high school kids were getting ready to fight. I was taking them home. My first bus stop, they were all getting ready to get off the bus. I said, y'all better not fight. They said, Miss McCoy at the time, you can't tell us what to do. So I dropped them off and I left them and I went on to finish my route. I would whip that bus. I would drive those rowdy kids home. I would whip that bus into that parking lot. My mom saw me one day. She said, Edie, you whipped that bus into that parking lot and backed that bus up. I said, yep. I had to listen to all them rowdy kids on the bus all that time on the whole route. And so when I finally dropped the last kid off, I was happy as can be. I said, yep, let me whip this thing in. Let me whip this bus in so I can go home. And that's what I did from September I did it for a year and a half, but from September of 98 to December of from 2000, no, wait a minute. I graduated in 2001. So 2000, from September 2000, no, 2001 to December 2001 when I graduated from Fayetteville State, I went on sub interim pay. I lost all my medical benefits and I did sub interim because she needed me to take on a kindergarten class. She was splitting she had 32 kindergartners sitting in two classes and she needed to break the class down. So what I did, that last day, it was September to December. I think around December the 13th, that's when I became a teacher. No, September the 14th is when I became a teacher assistant, from a teacher assistant bus driver to a sub interim teacher, kindergarten teacher. So for 4 months, I had to do that. And so when I graduated December 2001, they retroacted me all my teacher pay. When I turned all my paperwork in after graduation, they gave me all back teacher pay from back to August, right? So that's what I did. My first year, they gave me all the rowdy kids. The two teachers that had the 32 kids, they got to pick who they put in my class. So they gave me all the rowdy kids. And so Miss Archie had a little boy that he cut a little girl's hair in my class. I didn't know how to handle it. He used to try to fight me. Then I had another little boy that I never forget his name. It starts with a D. I won't say his name. I'll never forget his name. And I still see his face. He's a grown man now, but he was a little 5-year-old. He used to follow me around the class. He used to terrorize me and I would be walking around the class and he wouldn't stay in his seat. He would walk around and follow me. He would walk around and follow me in the classroom, y'all. And so that was my first year teaching. I had to deal with all that. So from the year after year, they would put all the troubled kids in my class. And I said, well, I had to deal with it my first year and I did it. I can do it. I can do it forever. So that's what I did until October the 17th, 2017, when Miss Archie couldn't take it no more. I couldn't teach anymore. I was going through some things medical and I thought I had like cancer or something going on in my right side because I had a pain in my right side. We had just come back from my daughter's dance competition, Rock Hill, South Carolina. We were just or South Carolina, I believe, where Carowinds is, the amusement park. And I was feeling this pain. I'm driving, and my friend Betty, and Divine Anxiety, and my goddaughter Michaela her granddaughter is in the back seat. And I'm driving down the road, and I feel a pain in my right
Absolutely.
side. And so
Okay,
I feel
hold
this
on for
pain,
it.
right? And so I
Oh,
feel the
yes,
pain.
right, absolutely. Oh, hi, King Net.
Oh my
Hi,
gosh, we got another one. King what? I can't
King
see it.
71 Net.
Okay, hey, King 71 Net.
71, not Net Vet. I don't know what his name is, but I just call him King.
Is it King me? I
No, it's
can't.
King 71 Vet.
Okay, I can't see. I know King Me. I talked to King Me before.
No, it's not King Me. It's someone else. That's
Okay,
someone
I
new.
see it. It says King 71 Vet. Okay, how you doing? Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm trying to tell you how I became a teacher, right? And so for years they would put the trouble kids in my class. And so I just dealt with it, you know? I didn't send them to the principal's office. I didn't call their parents. I didn't try to write them, label them and have all these parent meetings on these kids. I just dealt with it. And they didn't
Yeah.
like me. The principal didn't like me. But you know what? I didn't care because she wasn't in there. She wasn't in that classroom dealing with all that, trying to teach these students. She wasn't doing it. I was. She left me by myself 30 minutes to an hour once a week. She gave me an assistant. And at half the time, the assistant wouldn't even come in the classroom. They'd be at lunch or in the bathroom or down the hall talking to the other teacher assistants. So I just dealt with it. You know what I did? I took my high students. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I said, so and so, so and so, so and so, y'all going to help me. Y'all going to be my teacher assistants. I'm going to fix them. I said, y'all going to help me. I said, you going to help me work with these lower students. I'm going to work with the lows. You going to work with the mediums. And you higher students, y'all going to help me move those medium students while I work with the lows. And that's what I did year after year. My students, my kindergartners and 6-year-olds, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, kindergartners and first graders became my teacher assistant. Isn't that a sad thing? But it's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. It's a sad thing because they shouldn't have had to do that. It's a beautiful thing because they enjoyed it and I enjoyed it. And we worked it out every school year. I would cry at award ceremony, the last day of school. I would cry. When the kids, what they would do, they would have all the teachers outside, and as the buses were leaving, we would all wave to the buses for the summer break, right? Miss Archie's at award ceremony, boo-hooing. I'm outside waving goodbye on the buses, boo-hooing because those were my babies. Those were my kids. Before I had my kids, Devon and Zara, even when I had my kids, those were my babies. Those were my kids, to me in my heart. They didn't understand me. They misunderstood me. Just like people on YouTube misunderstood me. They don't understand Miss Archie. I have a
Yeah,
kind heart. I have a kindred spirit. God put that in me. God said you're going to be a teacher. It was a struggle. I was pregnant with Devon. I went to UNC Wilmington, like I said. I had to sit out because some personal things happened to me in my life. While I was at college, I'm a young college student, 18, 19, 20. I don't know what's happening to me. I guess I went into, my roommate told me, Miss Edie, I think you have a little depression going on. I said, what you mean? She said, you're not going to class. I was failing an art class. Art was my life, my heart in high school and middle school. She said, you're failing your class. You're not going to your classes. You're not eating. You're laying in the bed. I said, am I doing that? I didn't even know I was doing it. She said, yes, Edie, you're doing it. I see you doing it. So she said, go talk to this person at the infirmary. I said, what do you mean go talk to somebody? I want you to talk to a counselor at the infirmary. So I went over there and I talked to him. I told them what was going on with me. Miss McCoy, I think you have depression going on. I said, depression? What's depression? I didn't know. What's depression? You telling me your roommate said you're not doing all these things. You need to call your mom. I said, why am I gonna call my mom? I don't want to worry my mom. They said, call your mom. I said, okay. So I called my mom. I said, Mom, something's happening to me. I don't know. I don't understand what's happening to me. This is what's happening to me. I was taking on 16 credit hours trying to finish. I was a junior trying to finish, rushing instead of just taking my time. I had 1 year left. I had taken the 3 parts of the national teachers exam. I only have the last part to take. I would come home on summer break and go to Fayetteville State and take the test. Oh no, I would come home on my spring break and take the test. I had 16 hours. I was working as a costume shop assistant. My brother was over there in the Desert Storm war had broke out. He had been in the military, but he was out of the military. He was a reservist, but they sent his unit over there. So I was worried about my brother. I had a boyfriend at the time. He was over there. I was worried about him. I had a friend that had to go. I was worried about all of them. I was watching the news, watching the bombs and all that stuff going on and all that. And I had one of my cousins try to take advantage of me. All that happened to me at the same time as a college student. My grandmother had just passed away. She lived in California, Santa Ana. I think it's Santa Ana, California. It was July 14th, 1990. She passed away. She was crossing the street, 6-lane highway. She was cooking food for my cousins and my aunts and all were coming to her house. She was crossing the street and a car hit her, hit and run. Still to this day, we don't know who hit and killed my grandma. I couldn't go to her funeral to get closure. My dad scraped up the money, sent my mom. It was 6 of us. I have a brother, older brother, me, my younger brother, my younger sister. He sent my mom. And then his friends scraped up the money and sent him. So they went to the funeral. I didn't get to go see my grandmother, who was always my real mom to me. I didn't get to go to her funeral. So I see pictures of the casket. I see everybody's in white. The doves are flying. I see all this. My mom takes pictures, shows it to us when they come back back from California. I see all this. So in my mind, I get closure. I pray about it and I get the closure I need. I said, well, I'm just gonna remember my grandma. I'm gonna remember her the way she was, even though her face was just disfigured because the guy hit her and she had landed on the pavement. So I don't want to remember her that way. So I said, okay, I'm going to remember the last picture on my graduation from Fabulous Date. On the inside is the picture of my grandma on my diploma. That's what I remember my grandmother, not that disfigured face of hers that I saw. I remember her smiling, laughing, coming every time we're stationed somewhere. She would come. She lived here in Fayetteville for 2 times. She lived here. She lived in, it's called Groveview Terrace. It's like a rough housing area, right? She lived there. I used to go
Okay.
spend the weekends with her. She would have her windows open and she had a knife under her pillow and you could hear gunshots. I could hear gunshots and I was scared, but I said, I gotta go stay with my grandma wants me to come for the weekend. I'm going to stay with my grandma. I was terrified, but I was so glad when my mom picked me up on Sunday. She dropped me off on Friday and then she picked me up on Sunday. I was so glad when she would come and get me because I was so scared because I would hear gunshots and my grandma has a knife under her pillow. I'm like, Grandma, why you got a knife under your pillow? She said, Edie, I gotta protect you and I gotta protect me. She didn't have a gun. She had a knife though. She had a long knife under her pillow and she slept with it under her pillow. Terrified me. I used to sleep with her in the bed. And I'm like, Grandma, why are you doing this? She said, Edie, I gotta protect you. I gotta protect me. My grandmother's name is Thelma Lee Edie, Edie. That's where my nickname comes from. I was named after my grandmother, Thelma Lee Edith Edie Hoke. No, Perkins Hoke McFadden. No, Let me see. Wait a minute. Thelma Lee Edith Edie Perkins McFadden Hoke Wolf. Yeah, that's my grandmother's name. She was married 4 times. That's my grandmother's name, and I was named after her. My name Edith came from my grandmother. Edie came from my grandmother. Her nickname Edie. They used to call me Edie Amin. It's an actress. I forget her name. Edie. It's Green Acres. The lady that played the wife in Green Acres. Her name is Edie. I forget her name, but they used to call me Edie Amin in high school. That's where I got my name Edie from. Louise, my middle name is my dad's sister. Her name is Eloise. She's passed on, but her name was Eloise, so that's where my middle name come from, Louise. And then my last name McCoy, of course, from my father. And so I never actually changed my name. But when I was teaching after I got married, I put McCoy. I attached the Archie, the hyphen Archie, in respect of my husband. So that's where the Edith Mckoy-Archie comes from. That's my name. And that one content creator, she exposed my name. She put my real name out there because was foolishly emailing her for advice because as a content creator on how to deal with other content creators and viewers coming at me. So I was I emailed her and I guess she got tired of me and she exposed me. And someone called me and said, Miss McCoy, Miss Archie, they typed your name in their chat. And so I didn't see it because I stopped watching them. And then the next day, that Friday, I went over there and I saw my name. I saw my name in her chat, Edith Mckoy-Archie. Yep.
Okay. All right. I
Yep.
see.
So
I
I know
mean, for
I'm
me,
long winded.
probably.
I know
I
y'all are
mean, for
probably
me,
sick and tired of hearing me, but this is what I went through on YouTube. I went through
I mean, for
25,
me on
26
YouTube,
people.
I didn't go. I didn't. For me on YouTube, it was like different, though. I guess. I mean, I've been here for a while. So, like, when I went to this, 2 years back, I was in like, this
Mm-hmm.
person's chat. Though everyone knows him. Though basically, I was there, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean, a few times though, I've been mistaken for like an Arab or and stuff like that, or
Mm-hmm.
like when I say my faith name, or if I say which my nationality, my heritage and my nationality, they probably get offended with me. Try to group me with like stereotypes, which I'm nothing like.
Right. It's
Because
just sad that you come. I came to
I
YouTube
know, but this
for
is the second.
entertainment.
No, no,
I
I know. Same. But I mean,
For
now recently,
to be
no. But now, you know what I'm going through now because they're putting me,
I did it
out to
harassed. I didn't come to YouTube to be watched and harassed and talked about and
same.
called everything but a child of God. I came to YouTube for entertainment because I don't watch TV. I stopped watching TV like 3 years ago because the news is depressing. They talked about R word, murders, kidnapping. I didn't want to
Oh
see
wait,
all
I
that no
one
more.
time got really. I once actually used to check the news so much. I actually drained myself of a lot of energy. I made myself so sad. Actually, I kept listening every time, though, constantly. Though I was always observing, and then I've been told or advised by family, my. I don't know. One of my parents, though, they told me, please don't, please stop, though. Enough's enough,
But
though.
isn't
Please
isn't the
stop.
news isn't the news depressing? The news is depressing.
I know that's why though I rarely check it though.
Who wants to watch all that stuff? The only part of the news, I used to watch the news every morning when I was getting ready for work, just to hear the weather part, right? Because where I live in North Carolina, the weather changes. Like in the morning, like right now, it's cold. Like you need a coat when you come out the door, but give it to 11, 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it starts getting hot. And then by the afternoon, it's 80, 90, 100 degrees, right? And then in the evening time, around 6 or 7, 8 o'clock, it starts cooling down as the sun goes down, right? That's the that's
Yeah,
the climate. That's the climate in North Carolina. So
sure, sure,
when the
sure.
pollen
Wait, wait,
hit,
wait, I'm just gonna ask anyways. Okay, that's enough. But I was just gonna ask anyways. Did you actually get the song though that I just recommended? Let's listen to it and I'll show you
oh,
what it
well,
sounds.
how you gonna change the subject? Come on, Iron, don't change the subject. I was just
Nah,
getting to the good
please.
part. Now you made me
No,
forget what I was saying. You made me forget what I was saying.
no, I'm so sorry we changed the subject. But I want to change the subject. I'm tired, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tiring you out. I'm gonna shut up. Okay, what was the name of the song? I can't play the song because I gotta pay my
Oh
bill.
wait, should I just type it again?
No, but I can't play it because my bill's not. I gotta pay the bill. They cut my internet off. I gotta pay the
Oh,
bill. I do this every month. They cut it off. I don't get paid till the third of every month. So
fine.
I
The
should have
artist
paid it.
names.
No, listen, I should have paid it 2 days ago and I forgot. Zari said, "Mama, pay the bill." I forgot. So they cut every month. They cut the bill. They cut the internet off, and then I pay the bill, and they immediately give it right back. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
until I pay the bill, if I try to play the song, it's not gonna work. That's why it kept cutting off.
You
It
don't have to
started
play
cutting off.
for. You don't have to play for long. Just play a little and then
No, I
stop.
can't. Iron, I'm trying to tell you, I can't play it because my internet's cut off. I didn't pay
Okay,
my
fine.
bill.
No, no, no. I get the point. I get the point. Anyways,
I
that's
didn't
fine.
pay
No
the bill.
problem.
Until I pay the bill, I can't use my home internet. I can only use my phone. But if I try to play it on my phone, it's going to cut me off of StreamYard. So I can't play it on my phone.
Fine. I
But
get
but
it.
I
Though.
will the next time I'll play it the song you want.
That's fine. No problem. No problem. I guess that's it. Though. I guess you know.
No, you remember how when I was talking to you this morning because we DM each other. Yes, we DM each other on Instagram. We talk on Instagram. For all those that think I'm grooming him, yes, we do.
Nah, she's
So
already
remember, no, no,
spoken to
remember
my
this
mother
morning.
anyway. My mom already knows about this, though. I never hid it from her. She's already known about it. So it's not grooming anyway because my parents know. And plus, I'm already grown.
And did I not talk to your mom?
Yep.
Did your mom not talk to me?
Yeah.
Did she give us advice?
She gave us advice, but the other advice that she wanted me to do is time moderation. To actually, know when to talk and when not to, and also, like timing and stuff. Keep track of time.
Yes. And you know what you need to do? Listen to your mom. Always listen to your mom.
I know. I
Don't
listen to my
listen to
mom Friday. You know what
don't
though?
don't
Actually,
listen
though.
to don't listen to random people try to do you like they did me and try to make me think I'm crazy. Try to think I'm messy. I'm not messy. I'm not crazy. I'm smart because God put smartness in me and He put that
Yeah,
same smartness in my
I feel you.
children.
I feel
But
you. But I
I'm
was just
not
about to
messy,
say. No,
and
I was gonna
I
say.
am not gonna claim that I'm not messy, and I am not a liar. I'm not messy. I'm just me. I'm just Miss McCoy-Archie. I'm just me. I'm just Miss Archie. Let me be me. I'll let you be you, and we'll be cool. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say to these people on YouTube. That's all I gotta say. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm gonna
Yes,
shut up now for real. I'm gonna shut
sure,
up.
sure, sure, sure. I get you though. I mean, I'm kind of going through a similar thing, but I know there are people that accept me anyway. I
Yeah,
know
and,
that.
I, and
No,
I'm
I know
glad they
there's
accept
more
you.
people. No, I
I'm
know
glad
there are
that
more.
they accept you. I
I know,
tried to
man.
help you. All I did was try to help these people. I tried to help you. I saw you being bullied, and I didn't like it. You're autistic. I taught autistic children. Did I teach autistic adults? No. Are you an
Yeah.
adult? Are you an adult?
Yes.
Yes. But I know about autism. All you got to do is type it in Google and it'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
You don't got to pick on somebody because they're different. You don't got to do
Yeah,
that.
but also they don't really play on how nice I am, or also like sometimes my desire to fit in a crowd or something like that. Don't play on that though, you know, and stuff like that. Don't play on that.
I don't know why people treat people bad. I never treat people bad. But these people on YouTube try to make me look like a bad person. Miss Archie's not
Yeah.
no bad
Now
person.
they're misunderstood. They're just trying to struggle to understand you because you're pretty much different from them, and they want you on the same level.
Well, I'm not stooping to their level. I refuse. I'm gonna be me. If I want to talk, I'm gonna talk. If I want to shut up, I'll shut up. My brother told me. Remember, I told you what my brother told me yesterday, 2 days ago. He said, "Shut up, Edie. Shut up, Edie." He said it 4 times. Shut up. I'm older than him. He's 49. I'm 53. He'll be 50 in August. I'm gonna be 54 in July. He turns 53 3 weeks after I turn 53. That joker, that joker told me to shut up 4 times. And
Yeah, I
then he
feel
had,
you.
and then he had the nerve to hang up on me. How you? I said, Dwayne, how you gonna tell me to shut up? I said, you can say be quiet, but don't say shut up. That's such a harsh word. He
Yeah,
hung
I
up.
feel you.
He hung up
I,
on me. He sure
I feel
did.
you.
He hung up on me. And I said, I texted him. I said,
Anyways, though, to be
look,
honest, though,
I used reverse psychology on my brother. I said, I did not mean. I said, Dwayne, I did not mean to piss you off. I said, I did not mean to piss you off. I'm sorry. I was just trying to talk to you. He said I overtalked him. I yelled at him. I overtalked him. I was being loud through the phone. I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't shut up and listen to him. I said, you don't have to say shut up. Just say be quiet, Edie. Say be quiet, Edie. So because I wouldn't be quiet, because he kept telling me to shut up, I he hung the phone up on me. So I texted him to make him feel guilty. I'm sorry. I did not mean to piss you off. I was just trying to talk to you. And so what did he do? He waited 5 minutes and then he called me back and we had a good conversation. But then
yeah,
yesterday, what did he do? He had me crying again in tears because he said that me and my daughter are going to be homeless and living in my van. How does my brother say that to me? How? 2 weeks
no,
prior, my mom, I called her to check on her. She lives with my brother. She's not the same. She wasn't the same since I went down 2017.
look,
2 months
you
later,
think,
my dad
no,
went
but
down.
you
Listen,
explained
listen.
to me,
No, listen. I went down 2017, October, November. My dad went down 2 months later. My mom went down 3 months later. So my brother and sister came and got, my niece came and got my mom and dad. He's taking care of my mom and dad. I know he has pressure. So my dad ended up passing away. My brother he was saying I had to resuscitate daddy. I know all this. I said, Dwayne, it shouldn't have been you. I'm the older sister. I should have been taking care of mom and dad. They took care of Devon and Zari for me all them years. I should have took care of mom and dad, but I couldn't. I was down and out, and I'm sorry that you had to do it. He said, don't be sorry. I'm like, well, Dwayne, I know what you think. You don't know I know what you went through. I know I'm your older sister. I know what you went through. I saw my husband die in front of me and I couldn't stop it. I know that you tried to save daddy. You resuscitated him. He didn't make it. You tried. Both of us tried to save two people that we love and it didn't work. God said, no, I'm taking Donald, Edie. God said, no, Dwayne, I'm taking your father. I get a call, 5 o'clock in the morning. I see my sister's number. My sister don't call me. Nobody calls me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Edie, she answers. I already knew. I knew it was either my mom or my dad. Something bad happened. She said, Edie, I answered the phone. She said, Edie, you sitting down? I said, yeah. I knew. I said, Linnell, you don't have to tell me. I already know. I didn't know which one it was, but I figured it was my dad because he had already had a leg amputation. He'd already started to go into like onset of Alzheimer's, dementia. So I figured it was either my mom or dad. But then when she said, "Are you sitting down?" I knew it was immediately. I knew it was my father. She didn't have to
yeah,
tell me nothing.
yeah, probably
And
though,
so
I
then
guess though, for you,
she tells me that my father, this is what happened. And so I call my mom and she tells me he was getting up to go to the bathroom. He had a prosthetic, they gave him a prosthetic leg. So he didn't put his leg on. He had actually built up enough strength to walk on crutches without a leg, half of his up to his above his knee gone. he was able to maneuver himself on crutches without his leg. So when he got up to go to the
Yeah, I
bathroom,
feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I mean, for
when he
me, to
got
be honest, though,
wait a minute, Iron, let me finish real quick. When he got up to go to the bathroom, he fell, and so my mom was reaching to get him, and then he just slipped away. Yep, he slipped away. Yeah,
okay. All
I'm
right, I was
sorry.
just saying,
I'm
I was
putting too
gonna
much on
say
you.
that
I'm
I
sorry. I'm
actually
sorry.
no, I understand though why, sometimes though for me on YouTube, like how sometimes though I comment so much and everything like that. I get it. I know I shouldn't try doing that though, but I mean there'll be times when I do and times I don't. Maybe it's because like so like when someone says that you're doing too much, yeah, I understand though, but I'm struggling to express myself for the moment.
Well,
And
what I saw in you in the chats, I saw you. I don't know when I actually saw you for the first time. It might have been December or January of
I say
this
around
year.
December. I say December.
December. Well, I saw you in the chats, and I saw you. Then somehow I guess you spoke to me or I spoke to you, and then all of a sudden, if I don't speak back immediately, you kept saying hi, Miss Archie, or you kept typing my name, and I said, wait a minute, something's going
No,
on
I
here.
feel like more than once. I think it's only like two times actually. If you don't respond
No,
once,
I nope. It was more than that. It was probably like 4 or 5 times. If I don't, I noticed that if I don't immediately respond back to you, that you would keep doing it, keep doing it. Everybody else saw you as why is he keep doing this? He's being repetitive. I didn't know you. I didn't know what was going with you. When you know what popped in my head back when I was teaching autistic children, that's what my students used to do. They used to repeat themselves because they didn't know how to express themselves. If
thank
you
you.
didn't respond back immediately,
Okay. Yeah.
if you didn't, you gotta go.
No, not yet. But I mean, just finish off what you have to say,
Okay,
and pretty much,
so immediately that's what I saw in you because I was used to that from teaching from the lowest spectrum of autism to the highest spectrum of autism, which is it's called Asperger's, right?
yeah.
Asperger's high functioning autistic. I don't know if you are, but you to me were high
I have
functioning.
I have actually high functioning actually. It's just that I
Okay,
don't.
so
I know it
as a
doesn't
teacher,
show it.
as a
I know it doesn't show it, and I know it doesn't show it constantly. But actually, though, as a child, different though. And maybe it's because over time, by the time I became 21, I already started overcoming a lot of things that I had though. So like some people are slow. That's why they struggle to slowly see the signs
that's the
because
thing.
by the
If you look
so
up,
by
all you gotta do is look it up. You'll see the signs, the symptoms, what to do, how to handle it, how to maneuver in school as a parent. You will see all that pop up. The same thing with sickle cell disease. If you type in sickle cell disease or sickle cell anemia, you will see all that stuff pop up.
yeah,
I guarantee you there are
yeah,
people
but
walking
to be
around right
honest.
now that don't know that they have sickle cell disease or their children or they're a carrier or they have the trait. They don't know because I didn't know. I was talking to my brother yesterday, my older brother, after my younger brother made me cry. I called my older brother and talked to him for hours. He tries to tell my older brother stuff too. So we're the oldest, but he's trying to tell us he don't have no children, but he's trying to tell us how to deal with our children. No, no, it's not gonna happen. Anyway, I didn't know some of my family members had the sickle cell trait. I didn't know. I
Yeah,
don't have sickle cell trait, but I have what's called anemia and I have what's called thalassemia. When I was dating Donald, I knew I was going to the doctor with him, going to Winston-Salem with him for his blood transfusions and for his getting his IV, the fluids.
yeah.
I said, I'm going to go ahead and get myself tested. So I got myself tested. I knew I had anemia. She told me, you have anemia, but you have what's called thalassemia. Well, thalassemia is a blood disorder. It's not sickle cell or sickle cell trait. It's a blood disorder. So I guess that's what causes me to be have anemia.
Yeah, but I guess though eventually over time, I mean over time I managed to settle in the chair and people started getting used to me. So yeah, I get it. Anyways, though, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, though, during this live stream. You enjoyed yourselves during this conversation and everything like that. I hope you did.
All right, I'm sorry about that. My phone died.
No, it's cool, but I mean, slowly over time, yeah, I get it though. I'm just happy though, over time, thing that people are slowly starting, like the people that accept me, they understand now what I'm going through right now. I know that, we can't trust everybody though, and like pretty much though we can, what I'm trying to tell you, right? Without saying it, we and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. Listen, if y'all hear, I'm in the house now. If y'all hear chirping sound, just overlook it. I need to change my battery. My son needs to get up there because I'm too short to reach it, so I have to get in a chair. And I didn't change my battery. So if you hear chirp, fire detector, somebody came in.
Okay, that's fine, no problem.
Just overlook
Anyways,
it.
dog, I'm gonna go soon, but I'm just saying no anyways, you know. Um just understand, everyone else here though, if you're watching or if you're like, if you're here or if you're watching, later, just understand though that I'm trying my best to improve myself as I go along here, I know that you're saying no, I've been around here for a while and I've watched, this person and that person for long, but still I'm still young though. There's more for me to learn as I go.
Right, and I can't be there to protect you like I wanted to. They don't want to let
Yeah,
me protect you, so you're gonna have to learn to. When Masarchi's not there, I gotta do it on my own.
yeah. I just gotta
You
learn to
know?
keep my composure in the chat and actually calm down. And pretty much like when I feel like sharing like something though that happened to me and like whatever happened to me, that's just me trying to vent out what I'm trying to say. It's not really like, not saying anything bad or negative against anyone. Just want to, get it all out my system, like that. And also
Well,
probably
what upset me for the final straw is when that young lady content creator and then our well-known friend, content creator said I was grooming you. She said I was grooming you.
yeah. You know
You
what
know what
kind
a
of got
groomer
me
is?
above that?
A
So I
groomer,
will
listen, a
go.
groomer, listen, wait. A groomer is a pedophile. Is Miss Archie a pedophile? Am I a groomer? If I
No,
taught
you're
kids
not.
almost 30 years, they would have never let me work with children if I was a groomer and a pedophile.
Yeah, but then if you were a grandmother, they would take your kids away also.
Exactly. Would I have divine anxiety right now if I was a groomer or a pedophile?
No, and you would not be allowed to speak to me though at my age if you was. They'd be monitoring
How
if you
dare
was.
they put their mouth and say that about me? I'm
I know,
groomed.
but
I'm groomed.
if
She said
you
I was
was,
grooming a boy. She said I was
I mean,
grooming a boy. Are you a boy? Are you a
no,
boy?
I'm not. I'm not considered a boy anymore. I used to be, but I'm a grown adult now. I'm a man now.
Then she had the nerve to say, Miss Archie is just like Mary Kay. I didn't know what she was talking about. Who is Mary Kay? Mary Kay is she said she's she said Miss Archie was a teacher. Miss Archie, she's just like Mary Kay. The teacher, you know who Mary Kay is. She's a teacher that has sexual relations with a 13-year-old student, and she ended up going to jail and having babies, marrying that said 13-year-old student once he got older, and then she had babies with this dude. She said that was me, compared me to Mary Kay, and
First
in her
things first.
chat, I saw R. Kelly. I saw somebody type R. Kelly. Is Miss Archie R. Kelly? Did Miss
No,
Archie
I've
do what R.
only
Kelly did?
no, I've ne He can't be though, and you
They
never
really
was.
pissed me off. They made me mad when I heard that shit. They pissed me off.
Yeah, absolutely though. But to be honest though, they say though, you say you never guessed, but they made you this way though. I mean, you tried to look the other way, or you tried to actually be nice and tried to move past it. But then if they keep doing it though, then you have no choice to actually go to their level anyway. You know,
if
right?
if you're being told something over and over, I told you the story this morning how my mom, she told me as a child, she said, Edie, you're mean, hateful, and selfish just like your daddy. I had to hear that my entire childhood. Edie, you're mean, hateful, and selfish from my mother. You're mean, hateful, and selfish just like your daddy. Well, my daddy used to be an alcoholic. He used to drink. He used to fight my mom. So was I as a child? Was I fighting my mom? Was I drinking
No,
alcohol?
no, she's
So
probably seen.
how was I mean, hateful, and selfish like my daddy?
You're
I
not.
didn't understand
Basically, she
growing up.
probably said, no, no, I was saying that she probably said that because she saw you like her, she saw your dad in you and stuff like that. That's why.
And because me and my dad were one, it would be my mom, my older brother, my younger sister, my younger brother downstairs watching TV. My dad would be in his room watching TV. I would be in my room playing school. We were separated, but my bedroom is right beside my mom and dad. My sister's on the other side of me. I was close to my mom, my dad. I don't know why. I guess you know how fathers are close to their daughters and mothers are close to their sons.
Yeah,
So my
I mean,
mom was jealous. She was jealous
me and
of my
my dad's
relationship.
relationship with me, my dad with me is like my close friend, basically. Like we can talk about almost anything else that what we watch, what we're into, like that. We can just talk about things. We can talk about many different things. My mom was pretty much the closer one, anyways. Though, some
But
things though
who
you
were you
can't share
closer
with
to?
one person.
I understand you had a relationship with your dad as a close friend, but who were you closer to?
My mom,
Who are boys closer to their mother or their father?
their mother, because the mother looked after them from the day they were born.
So who are young little girls closer to their mother or their father?
Their father, because their father gives them what they want and they feel, you know it's because like with the girls and stuff, not all of them, just some of them though, they're a bit like their mom. So when you have two people with the same personality, they will both start to argue at each other. So that's why, I
Well, my
guess.
dad, this I'm gonna tell you what my dad was for me. My dad was my best friend. We had a dinner for him when he turned 50, I believe, or 50, 55, either 50 or 55. I want to say 50. When he turned 50, we no, it had to be 55 because I was still younger in college, I think.
All right, that's fine, no
He was
problem. I
55.
think that I guess though that's enough for me today. I mean, it was nice talking to
Oh,
you
you gotta
anyway.
go?
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta go. It's okay. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay, y'all, I'm on my own. I'm a little nervous, but I'm on my own, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep talking until I'm finished talking. So my dad, to me, Simi McCoy, to me, he didn't have a middle name. He just Simi McCoy. That's his name. To me, he was everything. He was my best friend. We had a dinner for him. No, actually, he was turning 60. It was his 60th birthday. I said it wrong. It was his 60th birthday, and we had a dinner for him in Elizabethtown, where he's from, Elizabethtown, North Carolina. We had a dinner for him. So it kind of worked out that we kept getting stationed back in Fayetteville or Fort Bragg because Elizabethtown is only like 40, 45 minutes away from Fayetteville, right? Or Fort Bragg. So we had a dinner for him. At that dinner, I stood up and did a speech for my dad. I said that I told him he was my best friend. He looked at me and tears started rolling. He didn't know, he knew how I felt about him, but he didn't know I felt that way about him. So anyway, my dad is my best friend. I lose him in 2020. My husband dies in 2012. He's my best friend. My best friend Frances, she's in Maryland. I couldn't call her and tell her what I was going through. So last night, was telling my brother, my older brother, about her, and he said, "Edie, you need to call her." I said, "Girl, I know there's plenty of times where I wanted to pick up the phone and call her." She had just lost her dad September 2017. I cried with her on the phone. I didn't make it to the funeral because I started going through myself medically and psychologically, I guess, thinking something's wrong, seriously wrong with me from that pain in my right side. So I go to Chapel Hill after going to all these doctors, and the doctors, she comes in there. She said, "Miss Mckoy-Archie, I see your file. I see you've been to this doctor and this doctor and this doctor." She said, "And everything, all the tests they run on you come out fine." She said, "Miss Archie, I think you have anxiety going on." And I looked at her and I said, "What do you mean?" Just like I didn't know what depression was previously back in 1990, 91. I said, what do you mean? What is anxiety? And she explained it to me. And I said, "Well, how does that cause me to have pain in my body? I have physically pain in my body. I know what I'm feeling." She said, "Edie, sometimes," well, she said, "Miss McCoy-Archie, sometimes when you're going through things, you can feel something that's not actually there." And I looked at her and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Am I crazy?" She said, "No." She said, "You're going through something and you have a physical pain. I don't know what," she said, she didn't know why it was in my right side, but you having a physical pain. We ran all the tests. Everybody, all these doctors that run all the tests, there's nothing wrong with you. You just got anxiety going on." I said, "Okay, I'll accept it. I don't know what it means, but I'll accept it if that's what you're gonna tell me." Because when they got my father to Chapel Hill, he was working on a house, and he fell off the ladder wrong. He was doing a roof. He could practically build a house, but he just never got licensed. He could practically build a house, like I say, but he worked on all these people's houses. I used to do his contracts for him. He just never got his license. So anyway, he was coming off the ladder. He came off the ladder wrong from off a roof, and he had pins in his left ankle because he used to be 82nd Airborne. And 82nd Airborne, you jump out of airplanes, right? So when we went rewind back to when we were in a station in Alaska from 73 to 1975. He, no, excuse me, 1975 to 1978. So I was in the first through third grade. I remember everything about Alaska. I remember school. I remember the Eskimos. I remember the moose. I remember seeing igloos. I remember seeing all that. This is back in from 75 to 78. So was in a helicopter crash, and he ended up getting a Purple Heart because he saved one of his sergeants over him, and he saved another guy. A couple of them died, but my dad lived, and he helped save two guys, so he got a Purple Heart. He had only thing he had was he had a scratch in his eye, and his right finger, his first finger is messed up or scarred up. And so we go to imagine me, this little girl, like my daughter, when she went to see my husband when he was in the hospital. I'm like, what, in the first, second, third grade? I go and I look in the hospital. I see my dad with a big old bandage over his eye and over his finger, and he's laying in a hospital bed, and it scared the heck out of me. So fast forward, he's at the VA after he falls off the ladder. They tell him he has a sprained ankle. He starts, over a couple of months, he starts losing weight. He stops eating, but he kept smoking his cigarettes, right? He kept sending me and my niece to go get cigarettes, but he stopped eating, right? So he started losing weight, sunken face. So I called my cousin who had been in the military. They were more like, I guess, sons, but he was nephew to my father. I said, because my brothers weren't here, my sister wasn't here. So I said, "Can you come help me? We got to get my dad to the hospital." So they had told him he had a sprained ankle. Then they were running other tests and told him it was this and that. Take this medicine, take that. He did all that, and then he stopped eating. And so I said, I told my cousin, I said, we got to get him to the hospital because I had been through that with my husband, right? So I knew something was wrong. I look at his foot before we took him the next day, before the night before, my cousin comes over, him and his brother, and we're trying to force feed my dad. We're trying to make him eat. He's telling us, no, I can't, I don't have appetite. My stomach hurts, right? So little bit did we know, we look at his foot and his pus is coming out of his foot. It's gangrene setting in. That's what that was. I said, I know something's wrong. I didn't know at the time what it was, but I've researched it. It was gangrene setting in. So we took him to the VA hospital here in Fayetteville. Took him to the VA hospital. They couldn't admit him because they didn't have room. I'm looking at my father sitting in a wheelchair, sunken face, lost weight, a lot of weight. I'm looking at him like I saw my husband. I said, Mama, if we don't do something now, Daddy ain't gonna make it. I told the nurse, I said, y'all gotta get him to the back. She looked at me and she said, you're not on his paper, you're not on the list to discuss. I can't discuss it with you. I said, my mom is right here. Tell her. She wouldn't tell my mom. I started getting mad. I went to the back. I started getting mad. She's like, "We're gonna have to put you out, Miss Archie. If you don't calm down, we're gonna have to put you out." I said, "Please do something for my dad." I said, "I went through this with my husband. He passed away. Please do something for my dad." So she got on the phone and she called Cape Fear since they didn't have room there. She called Cape Fear Hospital. They didn't have room, but they took him from the VA in the ambulance to Cape Fear, and then they got him in the helicopter and they shipped him, flew him to Chapel Hill, to that hospital. So that's why I went to Chapel Hill, because once my dad got to Chapel Hill, they immediately knew what was wrong with him. They couldn't find a circulator. They were going to do a test the next day to see where the circulation, if he had circulation or where the circulation ended or started or whatever. So they do that. My mom calls me. I'm in the shower trying to get dressed and ready to get there to Chapel Hill with my kids, and she tells me that they're gonna run this test on him, try to find a circulation. So I say, Mama, it's gonna be okay. I started praying and crying in the shower. I hurry up, got us down the road, picked up my friend Betty, got us down the road. We got to Chapel Hill. I see my dad laying in the hospital bed. I can't take it. So, we visit a couple of days, and then it's around Christmas time. Mind, this was December. Christmas time was getting ready to hit like a week later. Christmas. I didn't want my dad to spend Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, Christmas Day in the hospital by himself. Normally, my kids would be home. I would wake up early that Christmas morning, and they get to open up their gifts, and I'm recording them and all. So I sacrificed. I told them what was going on, and Devon said, "Mama, no, we want to be here with Grandpa." So me, Devon, and Zaria, we stayed in the waiting area in those hard chairs. We made pallets. We made little beds out of the chairs, and the nurse came in and gave us blankets and pillows, and we slept overnight. Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, my mom, she was coming back, so that let me relieve me to take me and my kids back home so they could open up their gifts, get cleaned up, showered, and open up their gifts, and that's what we did. I didn't want my dad to spend Christmas Eve in the hospital by himself. My mom couldn't take it. She needed to come home, do some things here. I said, okay. Me and Devon Zara. She said, no, I don't have to stay. I said, nope, we're gonna stay. I told Devon what we're gonna do. He said, yeah, Mama, let's stay here with Grandpa. So we stayed. The next day, day before the 2 days after Christmas, the 27th of December, they said, my mom, I was in the shower, like I said, my mom said, Edie, they're saying they're gonna have to find circulation. If they can't, they're gonna have to amputate. I said, no, they're not gonna amputate. And I prayed and cried. Well, they had to amputate. They had to go up above his left knee, and so he still had his right leg, so he was able to still drive once he got himself together after months of rehab and stuff. And they gave him a prosthetic leg. They came in and fixed his shower to make it, accommodate him so he can get in the shower with a seat so he can sit down on. They gave him a scooter. They gave him the prosthetic leg. They gave him crutches. They gave him everything he needed. My cousin had already put a ramp on the house, because before he got out of the hospital. So he came back once they did amputation. I think he stayed a few days. I was scared to go see him because I didn't want to see my daddy's leg gone. So he had the blanket over his leg, but then he took the blanket off. And so I looked at him and I looked up to God. I said a little prayer and I said, okay, I got to be strong for my dad. I can't let what I'm seeing hurt me or scare me. I'm gonna be strong for my dad, even though I'm not. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna let him know I'm strong, or let him think that I'm strong. So then my little goddaughter, she was a baby at the time. We put her on my dad and we took pictures, and she wasn't scared of him. And then Devon and Zari went over to him. They weren't scared. They weren't scared of his leg being gone. And so he stayed in the hospital maybe a week, and then he was shipped back here, and then he did his rehab for like a month here, and then he was able to go home, and then he would go back to the rehab center like once a week or twice. No, it was twice a week in the beginning, and then it became once a week for like another month period. And then that's when he got his leg, and he started driving again. He was going to the store like everything he used to do. The only thing he didn't do, he didn't work on people's houses like he used to, because he couldn't get on ladders anymore. He couldn't, stand up on his own without the prosthetic leg. So he kind of retired from the military in 1988, but he retired from working on people's homes 2014 when that happened. Yeah, and so that's the story of my dad. But he ended up passing away. Like I said, I got that call the day before Thanksgiving. My sister calls me that early in the morning and tells me, and then I call my mom and my brother and talk. And I knew what my brother went through. I didn't know exactly everything he went through about the resuscitating my dad. I didn't know all that till yesterday. We were talking on the phone or Saturday, when he's telling me to shut up and all that. We get into an argument, so we got him in that relationship somehow. But it's just a lot of trauma, a lot of what do you call it? Dysfunction. That's a term that when I first went to college on the financial aid form, it asks you, are you in a dysfunctional home? Well, I didn't know what dysfunction meant, so I checked no, and I should have checked yes, because they probably would have gave me more money to go to school. Because I lived in a dysfunctional home. I just never knew the word dysfunction, right? I probably should have looked it up in a dictionary. I never knew what dysfunction meant. So as I'm getting older and I'm teaching, I could practically be an English teacher. I should have went back and got my master's to teach English, because I focused on that. I focused on words. I focused on spellings. I focused on writing papers. I focused on all that. They tease me on YouTube. They say I write long dissertations. Well, they don't know what a dissertation is. What I write, it might be long and drawn out. They pick on my emails. I only do it to be clear and precise, so you won't have to ask, well, what did Miss Archie mean by this? I just put everything in there, and it's long, so that you will know what I'm talking about. So you don't have to question what I'm asking or telling you, right? So they say I write long dissertations and long emails, whatever it is, what it is. I know why I do it. I told them several times why I do it, but they choose to hear what they want to hear. So I do that, right? They don't know what a dissertation is unless you go to college. Then when you go get your master's degree, which I didn't do, which I should have, then you will know what a dissertation is, because you have to actually write a dissertation. But anyway, my dad, he gets better. He's driving, picking up my kids from school like he used to do. He did everything except work on people's houses, like I say. He did all that. He was getting better, and then I think my son was going from middle school to high school, and my daughter was going from elementary school with me, 5th grade, to middle school, 6th grade. And so that year I had to tell my dad, like, the plan's going to change. Instead of y'all gonna have to take Zari and Devon to school. So I dropped them off to y'all, and then y'all take both of them to school for me. And then I picked them up after school. So that was the plan. Normally when I tell my dad something, he knows exactly. He don't have to write stuff down. He knows what to do, and he just does it. So this particular time, he said, "Hold on, Edie," and he goes in his pocket and gets his wallet, and there's this notepad. And I'm looking like, why is in my mind thinking, why is he got a note? What is he doing? What's this notepad for? He pulls his pen out of his pocket. He said, "Tell me that again." And everything I told him, he had to write it, the plan. He had to write the plan down, right? I'm thinking to myself, why is my dad having to write this stuff down when I normally tell him? Me not knowing now, back then, he was already going through the onset of Alzheimer's dementia. It was starting, I guess, after he had his leg amputated. I remember me and my mom, we took him to the hospital in Raleigh. We took him for a checkup because she's made an appointment for him about memory. I guess he was forgetting things, and she was, I guess, got frustrated with him or was getting upset. Like, why is he not remembering stuff? So she took him. She made an appointment. And we took him to the memory doctor. I don't know what you call these doctors. To me, it's a memory doctor. And so what happened? They ask him questions, and then they tell him to repeat. We're going to give you a 3-minute to 5-minute period. You got to repeat what we said back to you. So my dad was able to do it. He passed the test. Even though my mom was scared and worried, he passed the test with the doctors. So we thought everything was fine. No, he was going through it then after that amputation. And I was talking to my brother about it. And he said, well, Edie, you do know that circulation, oxygen, all that works as one. I said, okay, maybe that's what was going on with him. So then she bought him a computer, she bought him a tablet, she bought him all these things, crossword puzzles. She wanted him to do that to keep his mind stimulated. So he did it for a while and then he stopped. But mind you, he was still picking my kids up, still going to the store, still doing everything he used to do except work on houses. And then when I went down 2017, he went down 2 months later. They thought they were going to have to amputate the other leg, but luckily they didn't. But when I went to visit him in the hospital, I could see something wasn't right. He wasn't remembering certain things. I could see it. And so 2 months went by, 3 months went by, my mom goes down. She starts losing weight, stop eating. She goes down. And so my brother and sister and my niece came and got them 2018. They came and got them and took them to live with my brother. So, and the rest is history. But yeah, amputation, sickle cell trait, sickle cell disease, all that I've had to deal with. When I first was dating my husband, I was taking a sociology class at Fayetteville State because I was doing history, elementary ed, and I was doing a double major, history and elementary ed. So when my principal needed someone to take on that class, she said, "Can you go lateral entry?" And what lateral entry means is you have a degree in something. It doesn't mean you have a degree in teaching or elementary or middle or high school, but they will let you teach because they're in such need for teachers. They will let you come on as a lateral entry teacher, and then they will pay you as if they will pay you normal teacher pay. So that's what I did. As I was going to graduate. This is December, or September to December. I was going to graduate in May of the spring semester. But she said, I need somebody now. So I said, okay, Miss Lewis, I'll do it. I didn't want to. I was scared. I said, okay, I'll do it. I'm not ready to be a teacher yet. I said, okay, I'll do it. So that's when she put me on sub interim pay, and I lost my medical benefits, and all that. So I did it for 4 months until graduation, and the rest is history. But when I was taking, I would think I going back to when I was telling y'all that I was teaching. I was taking the national teachers exam on my spring breaks at Fayetteville State. When I would come home, I passed both three parts. I had one more part to take. I was a junior at UNC Wilmington, had one more year. Went through all that stuff and had to come out. So fast forward, I sit out 8 years. I work in daycare, and one day I was talking to my friend. She's a principal. She was at the time she became a principal. At the time she was a teacher like I was trying to do, and then she became a principal. And she said, I said I kind of want to go back to school, but I'm scared because I owe student loan money, right? She said, all you gotta do is defer it. I said, what's these words, these big words? I didn't. What does that mean, deferment? She said, you just get with them, tell them your situation, and then you financially your situation, and then they'll defer it for you. So that's what I did. I immediately applied for Fayetteville State University, and they accepted me, and I went, and the rest is history. So back, rewind back to no, fast forward. Is it fast forward or rewind? No, fast forward. They took the national teachers exam away back in the 90s and made it it was called the praxis test, praxis, praxis. So because I had sat out so long, they wouldn't take my scores where I passed the three parts and only needed to take the one part. They said, you got to take this. It's not the national teachers exam anymore. It's called the praxis. So I took it. I passed the writing part first. No, I passed the reading and writing, didn't pass the math. So I had to take the math again. I had to pay all that money, take it again. I failed it again. So the third time I took it, I said, well, let me try to do it on a computer. Took it on the computer, 2 points, failed it, 2 points from passing. So I said, okay, whatever. So when my principal asked me to do lateral entry, they said, well, all you got to do, you don't have to go back and take those practice tests. All you got to do is take the last part, the last teaching part. This part was part two. So that's what I did. I went to Wilmington. I was pregnant with Devon. I went to UNC Wilmington. My mom and Donald took me to UNC Wilmington. I was scared to eat and drink because, when you take those state tests, they won't let you go to the bathroom. So I was scared they wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. So I didn't eat and drink. Mind you, I'm six months pregnant. And so Devon is in there. He's punching me. The baby starts moving and kicking and punching. He's punching me in my stomach. He's kicking me, saying, feed me, mama, feed me. And so I said, no, Devon. I rubbed my stomach. I said, in my mind, I whispered to myself, I said, I can't feed you right now. I gotta take this test. I gotta pass this teacher test. I'll feed you as soon as I get done with this test. It was like a 2.5 hour test. So I held my urine. I made him suffer. He's hungry. He's in there kicking me and punching me, saying, Mama, come on and feed me. So I finished the test, and as soon as I walk out the door, I said to my mom and my Donald, he wasn't my husband at the time. I said, Donald, we gotta go get something to eat. Devon's punching me and kicking me in my stomach while I'm trying to take this test. So lo and behold, we go to a seafood restaurant in Carolina Beach because it's UNC Wilmington, right? We go to a seafood restaurant, and I eat as much as I can. I probably overstuffed myself because I felt like I was getting ready to do you know what. So I ate too much, right? So then he calmed down. I guess he went to sleep in my belly or whatever. He calmed down. He wasn't kicking and punching no more. And so we get home, and then I think like three to 4 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks is when they tell you you get your results, right? So I got the results. I had a PO box. I didn't use my regular mail. I had a PO box that I had all my mail going to. So I got the letter. I went to my PO box. I saw the letter from them, from the Praxis company. And I called my husband. I started crying at first because I was scared to open it because I didn't want to see the word fail. I didn't care what my score was. I wasn't going to look at the number score. I just wanted to make sure I either pass or fail. So I was scared and I was crying. And so I called Donald. I said, Donald, I got my results, but I'm scared to open them. He said, Edie, go and open up that envelope. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. He said, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I said, no, I can't do it. I'm crying. I'm scared. I'm scared, Donald. I can't do it. I don't want to see fail. He said, Edie, if you don't open up that letter. So I got myself together. I stopped crying. I cleaned my face up. I said, okay, I'm going to open up this letter. I looked up. I said, God, please, whatever's your will. I said, whatever's your will, Lord. Whatever's your will. I opened up that letter. I didn't look at the number. I saw the word PASS. I didn't care what the number was. I ain't even look. I don't even, to this day, I couldn't tell you what that number was. It said PASS. That's all I saw. I started crying, praising the Lord. In my car, people were looking at me going into the post office. What's wrong with that lady? Why is she screaming and hollering and that crying in the car? I was praising the Lord. I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And I was praying and I was crying. I said, thank you, Jesus. I called my husband, called my boyfriend at the time. I called him back, my fiance at the time. I said, Donald, I passed. He said, see, I told you. I told you. I told you you passed that test. I said, Donald. And I told him what I was going through. I said, Donald, I've been crying and praying in this car. People looking at me like I'm crazy. I said, I was in here praising the Lord. He said, see, Edie, you see? He said, have a little faith in yourself. He was always the one. Whenever I would get upset or cry or the job was stressing me out, the principal was stressing me out, the kids stressing me out, my students stressing me out, I would call him and he would say, Edie, he would talk me down. He'd get me happy again. He was that person for me. You know, he was that person for me. So one day he said, Edie, you need to go back and be a principal. After I'm telling him all this stuff going on, he said, you need to go be a principal. I said, no, Donald, I'm content in this classroom. I want to teach kindergarten for 25 years before, and then I'm going to retire. He said, no, Edie, go be a principal. I said, nope. And I didn't listen. Hard headed, soft behind. I did not listen. I should have done it. I probably would be a principal for like what 10 years at this moment, right? So I didn't do it. I didn't listen to him. Before he passed away, he said he had one of those the housing pamphlets or booklets when you're searching for a home. Now, mind you, 3 years before that, I was looking for a home and actually got approved on my own, not with his name, with just my name, with my credit. He didn't want to do it. He refused. He wouldn't listen to me. He wanted me to listen to him, but he wouldn't listen to me, right? So my mother-in-law wanted me and the kids to move in a cul-de-sac where she lived. And I was like, there is no way in the world I'm going to move 2 houses over from her. She gonna be at my house every day. She gonna be telling me what I have to do. She gonna be in all our business. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I got with my friend Tammy. She lived in a neighborhood. She's like, there's an empty house right around the corner from me, or up the street around the corner from me. So that's what I did. I looked. She took me to that house. I looked at it. I said, okay. I was pregnant with, getting ready to have Zaria a week before I was getting ready to have her. I said, okay, let's. I'll just go ahead and go this and rent this house, and that's what we did. He bought a Ford Explorer, and I got us in a house. That's what we did. Zari was born a week later. I had the C-section with Devon, and then with her, I had a scheduled C-section. So I knew her birthday would be March the 2nd, Dr. Seuss's birthday. So I when I can know when I can come back live. Is calling me. Y'all, hold on 1 second. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna have to end this because this is my best friend I was telling y'all about. And I haven't talked to her and since 2017. Yep. So I gotta go. Maybe I'll come back later. If not, y'all probably see a little video that I made in memory of my husband because today is the 11th anniversary of his death. Okay. So if I don't come back live, it'll be I gotta take this call. Haven't talked to my best friend since 2017. I will do like a little video for him in memory of him. Okay. Talk to y'all later. Thank you for coming, Ryda, King, King One Vet, Kaylani Management, and Iron. Thank y'all. And whoever else is in here. Thank y'all for coming and listening to Miss Archie ramble and tell all her business. I thank y'all. Have a happy Monday. Is today Monday? No. What's today? Is today Monday? Yes. Have a happy Monday, y'all. April the 3rd. Just know today is a little sentimental for Miss Archie because that's when my husband passed away. Okay, y'all have a happy day. I'll talk to y'all or y'all will see a video from me later. Okay, Iron, thank you so much. Okay, sweetheart, thank you for being here. Thank you, all of y'all, for being here. Okay, talk to y'all later. Bye.